Okay, I'd like to call to order the Westerly Public Schools School Building Subcommittee meeting for Wednesday, February 12th, 2025. The time is 6:01. Members present: Cindy Kirchhoff, Daniel Lathrop, Mark McKinnon, Audrey Fobert, Stephen Marone, Kristen Federico, Chris Lund, Mike Ober, Chris Duhamel, and myself, Justin Hopkins. We also have with us our consultants, Deb Reading from Downs, John Scheib from NCA, and Ashley Prester from DBW. Did I miss anyone? Okay. First order of business is approval of meeting minutes from our January 8th, 2025 meeting. Those should have gone out in the calendar invitation. So if there are no modifications to those minutes, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay, next item on the agenda is public comment. We do not have any members of the public present this evening, so we will move on to approval of invoices. So I sent Downs update, and we have a lengthy list of invoices. I sent that yesterday. So I'm going to go through the one page of invoices that we have here. And I'll start with tower construction application for payment number 7 for Dunn's Corner and Springbrook Elementary Schools through January 31st, 2025 in the amount of $604,943.95, which brings the total bill to date at 36% of the total contract, 38% for Dunn's Corner, and 43% for Springbrook. So just as a reminder that whenever we get these applications for payment, they've already gone through what's called a pencil requisition review period with OPM and the architect to review the final payment. The final application for payment that we're reviewing has already gone through a review process with our consultants. So
give everyone an idea on that, Justin, not to interrupt you, but this was rendition number 7. It was over a week long, and it started off at 1.2 million. So it was a lengthy review process.
Okay. Okay. Are there any questions for Deb or Ashley related to this? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously. The next application for payment is from O&G Industries. Is pay app number 5 for State Street Elementary School through January 31st, 2025 in the amount of $588,559.08, representing a 15% of the total contract. Any questions for Deb?
Motion approved. Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously. Next is DBVW invoice number 2318-20 for professional services for Dunn's Corner Elementary and Springbrook Elementary Schools through January 31st, 2025 in the amount of $29,767.22. Any questions for Ashley on this?
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously. Next, TSKP invoice 230601-17 for professional services for State Street Elementary School through January 7th, 2025 in the amount of $12,678.11.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. We got two for the next one. TSKP invoice 230601-18 for professional services for State Street Elementary School through February 5th, 2025 in the amount of $12,679 and I believe 18 cents.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, next, we're gonna take these all as one motion. There are 4 invoices. I'll read them off. Collier's Project Leaders Commissioning Services for Dunn's Corner Elementary School, Springbrook Elementary School, and State Street Elementary School through January 31st, 2025, in the total aggregate amount of $8,063.75. This represents 25% of the total contract, and specifically invoice number 1011512 for Springbrook in the amount of $1,155. Invoice number 1011513 for Dunn's Corner in the amount of $1,320. Invoice number 1022189 for State Street in the amount of $1,742.50. And second invoice for Dunn's Corner, invoice number 1022190 in the amount of $3,846.25.
So
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? This represents the commissioning agent services during construction administration. Okay. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously. Next one, Prime Consulting Testing and Inspection Services for State Street Elementary School and Springbrook Elementary School through January 31st, 2025, in the amount of $27,900, which includes invoice number 23185 for State Street Elementary School in the amount of $25,164, and invoice number 23186 for Springbrook Elementary School in the amount of $2,736. So you may be asking yourself why such the high value on State Street. That represents concrete pours, steel erection. Both of those are heavy independent testing and inspection services. So it stands to reason that there was a higher volume of work that was done. Any other questions for Deb on this invoice? Okay, would anybody like to make a motion?
So moved.
Sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay. Next one, Downs Construction Corporation invoices number 17 for OPM services through January 2025 in the total amount of $19,537.50. Representing Dunn's Corner Elementary School at $290, Springbrook Elementary School at $197.50, State Street Elementary School at $10,350, and the Capital Improvements Ride Stage 2 application in the amount of $8,700. The one thing that I will mention, and I want to bring it up in new business, is that we will need to entertain extended construction administration services for Dunn's Corner and Springbrook Elementary School for both Downs and DBVW. So this is due to, if you recall, the original assumption was that CA services would be going through the end of the previous year when we were out to bid based on the amount of people and the feedback that we were getting from contractors. By extending the construction duration out to the end of the summer 2025, we basically had more bidders, or we had bidders, I would say. So what we have not done has reconciled the contractual extension for our professionals for those services. So my opinion is this would be to cover meetings and site visits during that time. So I know Ashley has been diligent by pinging myself and Dr. Garcelle. I have not brought it in front of the subcommittee yet, but I would like to do that at our next scheduled meeting to have a discussion. I know that I just read off invoices for Dunn's. I'm sure there were some questions about showing Dunn's and Springbrook Downs, showing Dunn's and Springbrook at 100% of their services. Are there any questions?
So that will be on the agenda for the following meeting.
Yes.
Is there any kind of time issue we're under?
Deb is, well, I'm assuming that we're proceeding to service our, there's still
Yeah, I'm
technically,
walking away here.
That's it.
No, of course. If
1 minute
anything,
left.
if anything, I can say there's been a need for us to be a little more vigilant lately. So, yeah, but I'm on site daily.
so more to come on that, but I wanted to bring that up because it is represented as a certain value here for me.
Thank you, Justin.
Is it an hourly contract or is it like a job contract? How's that accepted?
Yeah, we have a matrix.
Yeah.
So I've done an updated one. I know we talked about it way back in December, Justin, so we'll bring it back up again.
Does it make sense to just email that out before we did that? That way we can.
Yeah, we can
I think
bring it
so.
back up,
Yeah, I think that could expedite the.
Absolutely.
I think we provided an estimate of what we think it's gonna take to finish it. I don't think you'd wanna go hourly because we are spending more.
Yeah. I don't think so.
I think we just went, this is what it should be and this is what we're gonna bill you.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Thank you.
I can, I'll be as generous in a public meeting as I can be here. I think that I've personally seen the frequency of meetings that need to be done with the folks that are on site at Dunn's Corner and Springbrook, as well as the amount of town meetings that need to happen to pivot the way things are being communicated in the field for the adjacent construction. So I know that these guys are certainly being put through the paces for oversight, contractual oversight.
Every pace.
Yeah. Okay.
We're very appreciative.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's my honor to be working with this town. Great crew.
Deb's just saying that because she lives in Charlestown. This is the shortest commute she has.
No, don't believe me.
You're in Worcester?
Worcester.
What's that? What's that?
All right. So we have 4 invoices that are on the table. We'll entertain a motion to approve them for Doug's.
So moved.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay. Is that it for the invoices?
You want some more? That's it. That's it.
We're spending real money now. Okay, the next item on the agenda is owner's project manager / architect update.
Want to do a coin toss here? Go first.
I have to stay regardless for the other stuff that Mark's got, so maybe John can go.
I could do that, yeah, sure.
If you're ready, everybody, a quick
I
update.
am ready.
We have our color selections here. We had passed around this board at the school. I was kind enough to bring it in for everyone to take a look. These are the final color selections. I'll let John take it from here. Let's do this thunder.
Sure, no, that's okay. I mean, I'll do as much description as can be. So for the final look at the exterior of the State Street School before you actually see it for real, as you can tell, the steel is moving ahead pretty fast, or complete, basically the main steel. Pretty soon we're going to see more of the metal studs going up. Concrete floor slabs, then we start getting into things like stairs and masonry walls and then the exterior stud walls as well. So it's going to be a rapidly evolving building site, but I think tonight was the opportunity to just take a look at the rendering is what we had at the time we completed the construction documents. Really going back to design development, I think, was when the whole exterior palette was resolved and completed some renderings to show what it was like. So the renderings have really not changed. It's just when we get into construction, we just want to make sure that everybody's had this opportunity to say, okay, yeah, we've seen, now that we've had the contractors have submitted one of the three manufacturers that we required. And then, basically from that, we've selected materials in keeping with the renderings and the original intent of the design. So what you see here is the roofing shingle. That's, some large roof volumes. So that roofing shingle you'll see across all of the areas. And then the lighter siding, what's called composite siding, is this material, a rich wood gray look, but it's actually upcycled rice hulls. So it is not a forested product. It is, on the flip side, it is 100% recyclable, and it is guaranteed not to splinter, crack, or rot. Once it's stained, it maintains its UV stability, so it's a great material, nice natural looking material without actually using any true wood on that. That's that. Again, that's this section. You can see, there's elements of that siding on all of the building volumes, but you do see it with those, especially the ones.
It's under the overhangs
Yeah,
mostly,
yeah,
right?
mostly under the overhangs, yeah. And then the gray, kind of the upper part here, the gray areas that you see at the gable ends and some of the other, some of the other walls where it's not necessarily an overhang, that is fiber cement panel. So it's so that's slightly different. It does have cementitious product in it. Again, once it's finished and installed on site, it is durable and long lasting. That is the lighter gray color here. To go along with that lighter gray up there. And then the window frame color is this slightly darker gray. So we were going with a gray that will have very minimal contrast on the fiber cement side, but then it has a nice textural difference when you see some window frames that are up against the composite siding. So that's really the big picture of what the siding, these materials are. I think it's been up in the school office for the last, just day and a half or something. But again, this was just to kind of update you and share. This is where we are and where the building will be moving.
And for the shingles, are those, what's the duration on shingle life? Just curious.
So, yeah, let me see what we have. I do have some notes on most of the materials, actually. I don't. GAF weathered wood. I don't have like the warranty information on it. I can look it up while maybe at the start of Ashley's presentation. By the time we finish, I can.
We've finished the last 2.5 months, so.
Yeah.
Just not flat.
Yeah. I'm curious.
John, do you need to take that board back?
I don't have to take it back, so if you want to keep it at
Sure.
the school, it
Yeah,
can certainly
I'll
stay
grab
at
it
the school.
Great,
And when
thank
you're
you.
asked the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it up in the lobby.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, and they are moving fast now. I mean, I'll say it, this construction process, we're working with Downs and ONG and our TSCP and NCA team, we're very happy with how things are going.
Phenomenal. They really have been on top of that.
It's
And,
going on.
yeah, no issues over there.
How many people, I was unable to attend the beam topping ceremony on Monday. How many folks? I figured you guys did.
Yeah, Dr. Garcia was there, yeah. And, we had, what, 2-3 classes
Our students
there, all of them. We had the behind the fence crew and then the other side, the construction side of the fence crew. But it was televised. Do you have the link? Okay, we'll send you the link. Yeah.
I haven't looked up the link yet, but we have it.
Oh, we do.
I think on Westerly.
It's
We're gonna
another
have it.
house.
Western
Thank
Public
you.
Schools.
It was great. It was great to see it. Yeah.
The kids were so excited.
Oh, the kids were so
I'm sure.
excited.
It was so cool.
When it started
I
going
was so
out,
excited, never mind.
everybody was cheering. It was really
great.
fun.
There's
Yeah.
always that one kid that writes their name like this.
Oh, yeah. We had one student put the date on it and no adult ever thought of that. So we were so smart of that child.
That is true, because when
Yeah.
somebody quote that back, maybe
Yeah.
in the future, they're gonna say, well, how old is this?
I did cheat a little and right. Yay, finally.
Okay, it was fun. Yeah, it went very, very well. And honestly, And for anybody who hung around or looked out the window, that was the last thing.
Yeah.
That was at 10 o'clock. The crane was lowered and was pulling out of there at 11:50. Right on target, so.
That's great.
8 crane days, they got that up, 8 crane days. Not one issue. Yeah, it's very, very good so far.
Yeah,
There's once you can see it, like you can see which one it is, and they have the flag on it right now.
Yeah, they have a fire on it, so, yeah. It's been fun working with those guys.
it's always amazing how long it seems to take to get out of the ground, and now you're really gonna start seeing a lot of progress.
Honestly, considering what they put in 683 aggregate piers, I mean, they've made short work out of that. So now I'm sure it'll go very fast, won't be long before we're talking about roof. They are going to move forward and put, first they thought they were gonna work on the ground. And now that they see how it gets over there, they're gonna go forward and get the slabs in, so they can work on the slabs. Because, yeah, it's just a little too glass, so that's the next step, getting some concrete down.
Okay.
Thank you. I think that's it. Ashley?
Yeah, you got anything else?
All good up there. Been planning the ribbon cutting before you know it.
When's in Springbrook first, please?
Maybe.
I tweaked the presentation and brought the names down on the side on the right, so hopefully the online people don't get scared. It's showing, it's not doing a presentation. See it? All right, 1 minute, please. It's always great when they have an IT issue and then everyone is watching. Everyone, thank you. All right, so where are we with construction right now? With the Rec 7 that was just submitted, we're basically at an average of about 40%. It's a tiny bit under that, like 39 and change. We asked the GC to prepare a drawdown schedule so we knew how they were going to man the project. We want to make sure they're going to hit 95% in August, which is what substantial completion is for. That is exactly what they're saying right now. So this month was about a little under 4% billing. So they're going to increase the manpower and billing next month according to their schedule. We're going to do that every month in order to check and make sure they're still on track. If they are behind billing by more than 1%, we're going to ask them for a recovery schedule, how to man up the job and how to get more work done. We're very concerned about the summer work because it's going to be a lot of work by the same groups of guys, all the groups of workers, excuse me, the MEP contractors, electrical, plumbing. We're going to be doing the new electrical at done. So we want to make sure these guys are all ready to increase their manpower to make sure they focus on our job and not the other summer slammers that are out there right now. So we want to, we're going to continue to watch this closely and we'll keep the committee informed. Deb and I are really on top of this right now. We just got their construction schedule update for February. I've not reviewed it for Logic. I have reviewed it. The last one I did send it back to them. There were some things missing and there was a couple things that seemed out of order. But one thing I did check is they are still publishing that they are maintaining the September 20 or the August 22nd date. So they are still on track as far as their paperwork is concerned. So we have to make sure that they do that. So Dunn's, just to give you a quick update, buildings enclosed. What you see, the white paper out there is temporary just for the that is not the actual ABB right now. That's just to allow them to wire the building through the winter. Temp heat plan was submitted, so we should see that starting soon. MEP rough end is going on. We're starting to get questions on ductwork and electrical, where to put certain things. Kitchen layout's underway. Now that they put up a permanent, or not permanent, but a more hardened temporary wall in the administration office, they're going to be working more on those bathrooms in the lobby area. They're continuing to work on the sprinkler work after hours. Upcoming work, they are working on the main electric room. They're going to do the penetration through the foundation next week when everyone's away. And the transformer installation I heard was going to be happening. If it hasn't already, it will be happening soon. And a little bit further on, we're talking about the windows. We paid this month for the windows. They're stored locally, and they're going to be installing those. We have a little logistics that we want to go over with them on that. So you can just see some of the pictures. One thing I did not mention on here is the septic system. They've been going to town on the septic in the back of the building. All the tanks are in now. The septic field itself has been mostly excavated. They're going to start running all the conduit and pipe pretty soon. There is going to be a small change in the design, which means we have to go back to Rhode Island DEM. If you remember, the septic system was a proprietary process, and the manufacturer caught something that they need to fix. But that means we have to go to RIDEM. So we'll have to just go through that process right now. But that's not going to hold up the contractor short term. And RIDEM has said they're going to do it under an expedited review process. So we're not going to have the 60-day review or anything that we had before. At Springbrook, little bit slower progress right now. This building has always lagged behind a little bit. There's less scope, so I'm not as concerned yet. But they plan on they've put up the steel at the existing building to head off the opening that was originally a masonry wall. Sheathing's up. Masonry is going to go up, I think, next week. They've got the staging there to do that with the temporary heat. They've been digging for the underground stormwater system. It's just they had time available, so the site guy was available, so they did that work a little out of sequence. Steel erection right now for the media center is going to happen the week after vacation. It was just a scheduling thing. They couldn't get it to happen next week. And then they should be doing the roofing on the small addition. Some of this is weather delayed. They're delaying some of the work. Like they didn't get the second floor slab of the small group room in the upper right picture cast before it got really cold, and we haven't had an extended period of 30s and 40s that they could get it in yet. So they're realizing that they're getting up to a point where they just have to do that in order to keep the progress going. But for now, they've been working around it. So I'd like to present change order 6. This is a fairly minor one compared to the other big ones we've had in the past. More of this is just housekeeping. Change proposal 13 was some unsuitable soils. We're waiting on some verification on Dunn's. Very minor. It was basically, we owned excavation on 8 feet. They had to get some additional muck and loam out at about 13 feet. So we had to pay for additional excavation. We had an allowance built in for that, so it was zero cost to the project. Floor scanning at Dunn's Corner. This was approved by the advisory group. This was to locate some plumbing in the lobby area. At Springbrook, we got also approved by the advisory group additional paving at the loading dock area that you can see in the picture there. It was in really tough shape. And then we have a credit going back to the contractor. They did not, back in the summer when they were doing the paving at Dunn's, they didn't give us enough notice and the testing agent enough notice to have the proper staff and equipment available when they needed to pave. So we had to do post-installed core tests. And that's a difference in cost between doing it. And so that's attributable to the contractor. So we're taking that right off. and back charging the contractor for that. So that takes $2,895 off. So we're looking for approval of change order 6 for 8184.50.
So are there any questions to Ashley or the folks? I forget who's, I know Chris, who's the, who are our
I was
folks?
on it,
Okay,
Chris.
yeah,
Chris and Mark, yeah.
Chris and Mark.
okay.
Allowances are now 100% used.
Yes, I was gonna get to that in
Oh,
a
sorry,
second.
that has nothing to do with it. Kind of does, but-
So
So let's,
Did the contractor agree to the credit?
they're aware of it. We asked them for a credit proposal. They didn't get it to us on time, but we told them we're processing it.
Yes.
They've been aware of it since August.
Right.
When they paid. So I just didn't want it to drag on and be arguing about it this August.
Right.
Wanted to get it done and processed.
all right, so I believe we need to have a formal motion to approve change order number 6 in the amount of $8,184.50.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No.
Okay, now I'll get to your allowances. So the allowances, we had 4 allowances in the job. Most of them have been consumed by boulders at Dunn's Corner. I just wanted to let the committee know that we've now allocated costs on the construction side to all 100% of those allowances. So now any other site related items, boulders, soil, anything like that that we encounter is going to be an added cost. That's where we are. I have one change proposal that it just came in today. I wanted to get it approved.
Before,
Yes, sorry.
those are the allowances for like site work and things. Are there other allowances for other things that are still out there? Just
We have
the site work?
contingency for other things like that, so, which I could actually report on
No,
if
that's
you're
fine. Yeah,
interested in
we're
that,
not
so.
5% on it. That's not-
Yeah. Change proposal 43 is going to be put in next month's change order, but they would like to do slab scanning at Springbrook Elementary. We did not own that scanning. And they want to locate where if there's any electrical conduit where the fire pump room is going, we have to put a floor drain in there. So we just wanted to get that approved at 1,178. Tiny bit more cost than what it was back in, when was change proposal 39? It was like,
That's fall.
yeah, it was like in the fall. So it's pretty much the same thing they did at Dunn's, who were asking to do at Springbrook. So we just wanted to get approval on that so they can go do that. I don't know if you need a motion on that specifically or.
Is it formally being presented tonight? You just said it's next month.
It's gonna be in the change of order next month, but I could either get it approved by this body or I could get the advisory group because it's under the limit.
Too much pressure.
Yeah, we want approval so they can go ahead and do it, right?
Yeah, they're gonna do it ahead of the change order just to keep the sequencing going.
So would anybody like to make that motion?
So moved.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No.
Okay, thank you. I believe this is the last couple of things I have here is additional services. They are going to be cutting in the through the foundation at Dunn's Corner next week. And when they were digging out the upper left corner, you can see where all the conduits from the transformer come in. Tower was contacting Vortex, which is the town's normal hazmat operator, and they questioned the waterproofing that was on the building. Given the vintage of the building from the 60s, they questioned whether it was something they had to be concerned about, hazardous related. And we, Deb and I informed them that Vortex is our consultant, my DBBW's consultant on this project. So in order for them to do the testing and view report and all that, and then if it is a hazardous material, it'd be $1,200 added to do that work. So the total we have before you for additional service proposal 5 is $34.95 for that work.
So talk to me about So it's 120. Are we down? Oh, boulders, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's the next one. That's this, we're up here right now.
So you would like us to approve the additional services?
Correct, so I can pay John Carbone at Vortex.
So if that's found to be positive, then we need it abated, correct?
They will need it abated, which means then it will be a cost from the contractor side, which would be site demo, yeah.
And it's almost guaranteed.
Have you run into it before at that building or?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of times they would put material that is now deemed hazardous into mastics and other adhesives in order to create a bond. It was like a fiber. And so it's not a danger or an issue to anybody at the building now because it's out facing the dirt, but they have to cut through it. So we have to be responsible for it.
Do we have to test it?
or PCB?
Or do we have to test it, or could we just treat it as needing to be abated and spend that money on abatement?
I've been asked that question. They were just jumping the gun on getting John out there before I even knew what was going on. They were trying to
Yeah, they were.
give my consultant work without paying for it.
So has it already been tested?
John went out there yesterday
Oh,
to
that's
look at it. And that's when we found out everything, but he has not done the report. He hasn't done the testing yet, but it's kind of,
But just do the view.
Right.
yeah, it would just, yeah, we could just pay the little bit amount and say
Right.
just abate it.
And do it, right?
Yeah.
If Mark's already knows.
If he knows it's there.
So I think the motion would be to approve the not to exceed amount, but then ask you to reconcile
Yes,
that first number in the final change order.
yes.
Try to come in low.
We always do.
So if we know it's abated, then he's already viewed it. He will have to prepare the plan as if it's hot. And then so that it will still be the 1,200. So we're going to be into most of that cost anyway. And there will be a filing fee that the town will have to cut a check for 75 emergency abatement plan. So when they decide to do that. This is kind of the thing that we're dealing with the contractor on a daily basis, is that some of this stuff comes up and it's like, oh my God, we have to have it done now. And we really would like to be a little bit more proactive and have 48 or 72 hours notice, but this didn't happen in this case.
Okay,
You approve?
okay, motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None.
Thank you. Last is the boulders. The committee had asked us to look at the remaining boulders on the Dunn's Corner site. At the time, we hadn't dug any of the septic. It's actually been much more favorable than we anticipated, which we think what happened is that all the boulders we had at the stormwater might have been from the original building, and they just dumped them further down the site in the back. We have encountered about 120 cubic yards. We sent in a proposal to place them at the bottom of the site into a rock wall type of environment, dump some soil on it, put some flowers, and the contractor said it's not worth my time. I'd rather just give you a 25% cut and take them. So they have left, they're leaving the site. So this is not something, I just wanted to let this committee know that we asked for a quantity from them. Their approximate amount was about 6 trucks at 20 yards each. So about 120 cubic yards. And then I inflated the cost a tiny bit because I don't know what the administrative cost will be on that. So it'll be around 40,000. So that'll be coming at probably the next change order.
And that's.
And then we're done with boulders.
Yeah, then we're done with boulders.
Thank God.
There'll be no more discussion. And they're all done at State Street with boulders. So we won't be talking about rock anymore.
Yeah.
Were we expecting it to be somewhere around that?
No.
No, we had allowances for boulders, but then we also had allowances for unsuitable soils. We had to convert the unsuitable soils through unit prices into boulder numbers so that we could have more boulders. And then we still exceeded it with this amount. So it was just a matter, we had allowances, it's just no one anticipated this much.
Well, you could
So-
share approximately that number that you had figured recently, if it was the same as other areas.
Oh,
that you had
it was
estimated.
hundreds of thousands,
Yes,
if
it
of
was-
dollars.
He
Yeah, I was-
showed it, like, if it's the same percentage of what's being pulled out is rock, as it was over here and over here. And
Yeah,
so it's, yeah,
I'm very glad that
But it
we
was.
haven't
much
encountered
better,
that, so,
much better.
so.
And we do have some soil leaving the site, it's going to the town's landfill. Some, removed up in Springbrook, some being removed in
Yeah.
Dunn's.
I was just taking a hike in the Glacier Park, and there was one of those things that was about how boulders get deposited in different areas. That's all I can think of.
Well, if you look at the topography of the bowl, right, at the site, it's all the rocks just
Yeah.
deposited
Yeah.
there.
Well, yeah, there was a glacier that came
Yeah.
through that
Yeah,
melted
that's-
in that, yeah,
That part, that area is right on the line.
it would make sense based on.
And, you know, for the amount of boulders that were found in there, I'm sure it was a very short discussion. For the amount of boulders that were included in this discussion about aesthetically stacking them, it was amazing, the conversations that went on, to the point where the contractor, like you said, just taking them, just taking them.
Yeah.
Good, that's a good
So-
outcome for us.
Yeah. Oh, okay, one last thing, FF&E update. We've had our 2 rounds of meetings with Audrey and her FF&E advisory group. We feel we've come to a consensus on the design. I sent off the approval package today. So I'm gonna ask for some signatures from them. It is currently with WB Mason right now. I've also prepared a technology list to go to the IT director to fill in with his latest numbers for the different equipment that he purchases. I hope to have all that for presentation on the 26th, the next meeting. So we'll be going for approval from this board to basically get the town to procure the FF&E.
Mhm.
So we can get on the schedule for August delivery.
So are you working with Ed at WB Mason?
Ed Pires is the one we've been talking to. I think he's assigned someone to it, but Sarah from my office has a very good relationship with Ed and just been working with him directly on a lot of things. We had an estimate last year on this before we went out to bid, and we just want to reconfirm that costs are still in the same ballpark. We did have some escalation in there and things like that.
Do you think that you're gonna potentially need a special meeting just to make sure, I mean, it's a little tight, March, if we're placing orders for furniture? I mean, maybe not, but
The only thing I'm worried about is the media center. And I've had projects where the media center furniture hasn't arrived on time, and it's usually within a couple weeks after that. I think I'm gonna be more concerned about if we have the labor available in the end of the summer, because every school in the whole state is gonna be getting furniture at the same time, so it's trying to get into the pool now and get on the schedule.
Ed will block out, I have him doing that in Newport, we'll
Mhm.
block out some time now, even before he gets the order, so we can talk to him about that.
Okay. He knows it's coming, so,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that he's already done that. So,
Hopefully.
But I can't speak on
Remind
that.
him of that.
yeah,
I guess I'm just saying if it helps on the front end, purchase order issuance, let us know even if it's a week or 2 weeks and we need a whole special meeting
okay.
to formally move that along.
Yeah, if it's not the 26th, would go for the first meeting in March, which would be like the 12th or 14th, somewhere in that range. So.
Do we have any furniture that needs to be removed from the building over the summer?
Stuff being removed.
Yeah, the
from
current,
right?
current
Yeah, I was gonna
library
say,
at
right?
Springbrook.
Current library will need to be vacated
Right, yeah.
by June, so that at the end of the school year.
We take care of that. I don't know if everything's going back in.
We're not counting on any of it going back
Now
in,
they're
so.
going to except the books. But all the
Except the books.
shelving, everything is gonna be new.
Yeah.
Surprise, Mark.
Yeah.
I'm home for that stuff.
So there's a process for deposition of, unless you want to try to move it to other places in the district. Yeah, there's a process we'll have to go through the town on that.
Tax it.
Yep.
Exactly.
You bet.
I think that's it. That's it.
Okay, any questions for Ashley?
I
Thank you, Chris.
Ashley,
Yeah.
can you speak to, people approach me about smells at Dunn's Corners and fire trucks having to come and whatnot.
Two different issues.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
I don't know, if you want to take that one, Deb, I can be happy to provide a treetop level on it. Two things occurred. We have incident reports filed by the contractor for both. So we officially have that. The first one happened around the middle of the month, middle of January. The roofing contractor had an open bucket of a non-approved adhesive that was very high in VOCs, very high in organic chemicals, right under the air intake of the rooftop unit. They put we put a stop to that. The next day or two, they put a approved bucket of adhesive in the same spot, and it, even though it was it didn't have the same organic chemicals, it was still a problem. It's a known problem. The contractor has been very aware of what we're dealing with. The superintendent is dealing with it from the staffing side. And, yeah, we've made it very clear what the requirements are in the documents that weren't followed. And then, regarding the police and fire, which was last week, they had started doing the gas piping upgrade in the principal's office that is going to feed the new kitchen. We had to make the pipe bigger. And they installed a valve for construction purposes to be able to shut everything off, and the valve wasn't completely shut off. And that caused a very unfortunate situation. I had equipment rolling and everything like that. So the fire marshal was very responsive. He gave him an earful. Both of these are completely contractor related issues. And we keep telling them it cannot happen.
Have teachers and students.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's not okay.
Yeah.
And we've persevered. I mean, I don't think that incident reports are part of their normal process. Persevered to get a very accurate report issued. And so we've involved our safety officer at Downs Construction, and we're meeting on site at 8:30 on Friday. Sandy will be there as well, for the entire tower team to go over the process going forward. Have, pre-installation meetings and safety discussions before they touch anything like that.
Do you have a virtual link for that? Because I am available for that. But I
Sure.
won't be able to-
I can-
Okay. Thank you.
Basically, they're being treated accordingly. They've got to give us 72-hour notice. And it's not just notifications, basically, they're looking for approval from that at this point. So we'll judge,
Like you're gonna have this before
this team will judge whether we think it's appropriate for them to be doing work. But as I told them, from now on, anything that produces an odor, I don't care what it is, you're not doing the night before or the day before that school is going to be occupied, certainly not
Not
while
the
it's
day of,
occupied.
right.
So we've got to give them a buffer to come in, and we've got to assume they're gonna have a problem, and give them a buffer to go in and resolve the problem. So that's how they're being dealt with going forward, and we just have to keep an eye on them. We have a senior project manager out there who is,
From the contractor.
from the contractor, who is from Tower, who seems to be Troy Turner, if anyone knows, he went up through the ranks, so he seems to know what he's doing. He's been tasked with a huge amount of catch up, and
Is he a new hire to Tower?
he's been there a few months. He's been there a few months, and he says he's working on other projects which are, also needed some assistance, but he is doing a very good job at being a liaison to Paula and Dr. Garceau, and he's definitely trying, and I think he's succeeding in some aspects, but he's just been out there, about a month now?
Yeah.
And they are, per my strong recommendation, they are replacing the superintendent. And they have a superintendent coming in, I believe he's starting full-time Monday. And he is much more experienced and seems to be coming in with very good attitude. So we're hoping for good things to be happening going forward.
That was gonna be my next question. Are you confident that?
We're not confident in the state.
No, if it's Murphy's Law, if something will happen, it can happen, it will happen right now. We're trying to, through the 72-hour notice, trying to prevent
Right.
things like that from happening,
So-
but we're not the ones swinging the hammer or turning the wrench at night or on weekends, and we're just trying to do the best we can, but it's their responsibility, it's their site, their subs, their permit.
So, yep.
We wanna make sure, obviously, like you wanna make sure that as a committee that we're
Absolutely.
not making
Absolutely.
mistakes that are putting
No,
people
these,
at risk.
they've been told it cannot happen again, so, there's explanations for everything, but every explanation, you can go back and look at how it could not have happened. As far as the gas pipe was installation, there was a run of gas pipe with one shut off involved. It was done after hours with a project manager there supervising from Tower. There were 4 plumbers on site. Now 4 plumbers were on site and no one went over there and made sure that valve was shut off. It's
It
boggling
looked
our
shut
minds.
off, but it wasn't.
Right.
It was 90%.
Mark
shut off.
knows it was somewhat obstructed. It couldn't shut off all the way. So. Thank you, Mark. I don't remember. He's got Tower and 911. So hopefully things are going to start to improve because I know they've got a large amount of work ahead of them.
55% in the next 7 months, so they gotta make a good push.
And like, not hopefully. It's
Oh, they
gonna,
will.
right?
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
don't
want-
worry.
As I
Don't
said,
you worry.
we
Make
are
sure that
holding the course
parents
right
and
now.
Teachers feel
We have some very
Safe.
lively discussions with them. So, yeah, they know exactly where we're at with them. And Ashley has a prior working experience with them. I feel as if I've been working with them forever now, so we're quite, we know what to expect from every character over there. So.
The conversations, some people in this room have been included on the email conversations. I wouldn't recommend it for the soft-hearted, but we have been very forceful when it comes to making sure adherence to the documents is required.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we are as 100% protected on this project by the very thorough contract document package that Ashley put together, which he loves to.
I wish I didn't have to. I don't want to quote chapter and verse, but I have to in a lot of cases, so this is what it is.
All right, so since these conversations are coming up in a public meeting, let me be clear. If we have another incident like that, they're off the site, we're
Correct.
pursuing all legal avenues to recoup all costs and replace them. It's
exactly,
not, it's
right.
And I will
it's not a joke.
inform them.
Okay.
No, it's not.
No, we've had those kind of discussions behind the scenes as
Absolutely.
well, so.
Tell them to watch this meeting and
Yeah.
tell them that they're on notice.
We're meeting with them tomorrow at 10, and we're meeting with them Friday at 8:30.
Yep.
And they will be informed.
Thank you for the
They used
backup
up all
on that.
their-
That helps actually too.
Yes, we used up all the favors. That's it. Okay.
Anything else?
I need you to sign the pay app.
I will, now that you've approved it, I will sign it electronically. I can sign it right now if you want.
Okay, Deb, anything else?
Yes, actually, I'm looking for approval from the subcommittee, building subcommittee for proceeding with the RIDE Stage 2 submittal. This is just due to the constraint of having to have this into RIDE by February 15th. That's the drop dead deadline. Brewster Thornton, their architects and their engineers and consultants have been amazingly diligent at going through all the buildings, meeting multiple times a day, sometimes with Mark and I, being extremely thorough and putting together what they think of as a very comprehensive, and from review of it, it's a very comprehensive list of potential improvements, upgrades, repairs to all the buildings. We had done the stage 1 back in September. And our estimate was at 27,567,000. Their current estimate is at 34,889,000. Basically, the reason for that increase is they are recommending that we include the repair of the high school roof at 4.2 million. Doesn't mean we have to do it. Again, we don't have to do any of these repairs, but they'll be approved by RIDE and they'll get at least a 35% minimum reimbursement. And $1 million worth of electrical panels, I believe that's at the high school, and a $250,000 allowance for the cupola on the high school, which is a very intricate scope to try to either repair or replace that, because all the town's emergency service antennas and all that are attached to it, but it is in a state of disrepair. So those things added onto what we already had as scope of work has brought it up to 34 million. This has been through school committee and been through the town council, and both have approved. But we do need formal approval of the building committee before it can be passed along to RIDE.
I just wanted to make sure I understood. Did you say a lounge on the cupola?
Allowance.
Allowance.
Sorry.
Yeah. Fancy mom.
$250,000 allowance.
All right, there we go.
And allowance on the cupola. So they don't have the entire package put together yet. They're in the process of that probably tonight. It's going to be a very large document and includes everything, but I did circulate with the backup what I have so far for the estimate. I don't know if anybody had a chance to go through it, if you have any questions. Like I said, it's basically, it's based on what we originally had. We did make some changes. They added some things. Actually found that some of the work was already done when we took it out. Moved some things around. They've talked to the principals. They've talked to Mike about IT systems and audiovisual systems. So they have been very, very thorough. And again, this is just a list of potential work that can be done. But by going through this process, whatever projects are decided upon by the town to proceed, you will get that minimum 35% reimbursement and potentially more considering what it is.
So it's, I'll reiterate what I've said to both the school committee and the town council, is that, cover your ears, Mark. It's unlikely that the town either has the appetite or the capacity to do all the work that's represented in the stage 2 application, okay? However, there could be grant funding out there. There could be other revenue streams that can be applied to some of these, some of our contingencies. If, if we have available funds at the end of this project, we may be able to, if we don't earmark them for something else, they could be applied to something, some of these projects. I don't think that's going to be the case because I think we're going to find enough to do at Springbrook and Dunn's with any available contingency dollars. But there are some of those items that are part of the stage 2 application. So, so it's there for a potential menu of future projects, and it will still be in front of the school committee about whether or not the charter gets changed for this subcommittee. Right now, we're an ad hoc committee. We would need something that resembles a more permanent committee. So that's something that I think the school committee will be addressing. And I may seek some guidance from this body about what our recommendation would be to the school committee for that.
Justin, what about when our projects are all said and done, the reimbursements that we get? Where does that go?
It goes to pay the bond.
Okay.
For our bond projects.
Right.
Okay, because it pays for the bond and interest on the bond. So it's kind of prorated over the life of the bond, the reimbursement amount. For capital projects, you can submit reimbursements. Projects need to be complete by June 30th.
June 30th.
And you basically submit your reimbursement at that time. And it's because it's funds that you are spending that are what's the term? Non-amortized, in debt, you get reimbursement right away. So my thought process is if we're spending between $1.5 and $2 million anyway, that perhaps after a year of seeing that reimbursement, we may have an argument to increase that by 30%, 35%, just by demonstrating to the town that, hey, we're getting.
Have we seen it yet? I mean, the
We
only
haven't
thing
seen
that
any
has a bad
reimbursement.
taste in everybody's mouth is the trap, because they were told there was gonna be 35% and there was nothing. So I think you're right.
There's some selective memory of those conversations, and I'm not accusing you of that. They were told that we would do everything that we could with RIDE to seek reimbursement. I'm pretty sure there was never a guarantee, or at least I never gave a guarantee that it would be available. So nonetheless, there was, I think, some assumptions that were made that there would be a portion of the field project be reimbursed by 35%. When the conversations with RIDE happened, first of all, it never went through a RIDE review process. All of these projects that are in the stage two application need to go through. If they're under $500,000, you can submit them as one review. If they're over $500,000, you have to go through schematic design development, 60% construction documents. That is the RIDE process for making sure that they're reviewing projects. That one never went through, and there was no way to retroactively capture. Wasn't our, I can't answer that question.
I mean,
It wasn't, I mean, it came to us as a shovel-ready project having already been bid. So.
Well, yeah.
And, anyway. You threw me off my game here. Any questions regarding the stage two application?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously.
Do you want to touch on the?
Hot here.
No.
The roof?
All the time.
Yeah, actually, you're right, we have, I do have an amendment here too for our services, right, thank you. We have. We have an amendment to our contract. Amendment to our Downs contract, we currently have, I believe, 95 hours left for capital revolving fund projects, and we're going to peel off 70 hours. That's exactly what we used on Springbrook, and apply them to the middle school project, which is just gone out to bid and in the process of awarding to DBBW.
Did you have to do, remember when it was like, do you have to take the doors out or whatever? Remember you brought that to us about?
That's the second project.
Yeah, no, this is the roof.
This
This is the roof, right? And that middle school project, the roof, is actually part of the stage two, just so you know. So it will get 35% reimbursement if you move forward with this. So we're already utilizing this, in the process of utilizing the stage two. So, yeah, so we're just looking for approval to make that amendment to our contract that we're going.
How old's that building?
95.
No, 2005.
That's what I mean, yeah.
I was around.
I
was like,
Springbrook was
I can
90.
share- I can share some history on that.
It's almost drinking age.
Right. Yeah. But they
And when
do
is the
have-
roof supposed, when is that work supposed to be? Or we want to go out.
Broken up over a couple of summers, starting this coming summer.
We were hoping to go out to bid in June,
May.
May.
We're gonna try to do everything we can to speed that up.
I would like to as well. Yeah, I don't know if my proposal was included in this, in the packet to everybody, but, we basically, when we started Springbrook roof, we started in December. We're now starting at the end of February. We still think we can get it done, but it's gonna require a very expedited review and approval by RIDE at every step. So we will need to have a meeting with RIDE to tell them this is what we're expecting. It's gonna be the same lift that we did on Springbrook. It's gonna be very quick. I don't anticipate it being a very difficult process for us. But it's mostly waiting for RIDE and waiting for estimates to provide the information to RIDE. So.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Wesley, we can go out to bid at DD.
I would not know that. I would defer to my
We can
DOP.
go out to bid at DD, we cannot award until we have CD approval. Yes.
Is this a project that's on the stage 2
Yes, it
application?
is.
Then you can't execute a contract until you get an MOA on that. Can you?
Probably that as well.
Yeah, I had that question as well as how we're gonna get SD and DD review on something that isn't approved until the May Board of Ed meeting.
RIDE will do reviews,
Yeah.
but here, I mean, it's not gonna be eligible unless you execute the contract after that MOA. It needs to be part of it.
Which puts us at the end of May, which is where my schedule was originally.
Okay, so what do you need from us?
Well, we don't have a notice of award yet, DPW, do we? I think that's still with.
The notice of award came in, but then we, intent to award, and then we submitted our proposal to Eileen and Mark.
Yeah, so that's why it's not on tonight, because I didn't see it, and I didn't have it. So that's the next official, so at the next meeting. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's just gonna push it another couple of weeks, but honestly, I'm away next week anyway, so
Okay.
it doesn't matter.
Okay, so we'll make sure that that business is taken care of for the next meeting. So tonight, it's just, I don't even know if you need to vote on it, just acknowledgement that it's no additional money to us. It's just we're moving we're gonna be utilizing our remaining allowance, not the entire remaining allowance, but the allowance we have for CIR funds. We're gonna be utilizing that for the middle school. And that's it.
For Downs contract.
For Downs contract, not for you. You're a whole different game of worms,
Thanks.
which we will. That's the next meeting.
Yeah, I think probably would be worth, just because as part of what I had circulated to the subcommittee was thank you to all of the teams for getting the information to be able to put something into a kind of collated presentation. So if you looked, the PDF that I sent through as part of that update represented the kind of summary to our elected bodies, but also a pretty good presentation on where, you know, all of the graphics, floor plans, site plans, everything. But the last item had shown what obviously we spent some of our contingency this evening, but still have a very healthy contingency remaining on all the projects. So it will be good for the next meeting to understand. We talked about professional services. I'd rather use most of the contingency for what the students are going to be using. So I'd like to get a better idea of what the impact is. And it may just be a matter of collating everything, Deb, into kind of one document. So we can look at where we stand for current contingencies on the project, and then minus extension of services for Duns and Springbrook.
Absolutely.
One quick thing, I didn't bring it up this week because I wasn't too prepared to talk about it, but the stage 2 apparently identified that the soffits at Duns have some moisture, and we were just basically recoating them. So this committee we'll have to look at that scope and determine, do we want to extend the scope of the current project to remove and replace them, or pull that money back and put it back into contingency, and then go later with another project during the capital project,
Those offices, the biggest eyesore on that school.
which is why we wanted to fix them. We just thought they were in better shape, but they did a moisture test and it's,
If it's already paid, if it's already encumbered by the project, then
what's encumbered right now is a new stucco coating on it, but if the substrate is not in good shape, then we're gonna encumber more work. And I don't know if I wanna add more work to the contractor with what they've gotta get done right now. So it's a debate. I'm just bringing it up to you. I didn't bring it as a formal item, but something that we'll need to talk about.
Is it just ugly or is it unsafe? Like,
Not, it's not
I
unsafe.
don't mean
it's
it,
just
you know what I
not-
mean? Like
No.
an eyesore or it's not safety of anyone?
No,
They
I don't,
didn't have the ability to get in close enough to look at it. They thought from the staining that was there that potential water was getting behind it, but it's so well vented that it may not be an issue.
Right.
the staining was pre-roof work. It was before the roof was done. Since you did that, I don't think you had much problems. We have one crack that came during this construction, which you think is from the site work. But, yeah.
It's $100,000 right now in Towers contract.
so, I mean, my opinion is that we already own some sort of lift or staging, for it, some labor associated with putting the material, putting stucco. If we modify it, then we're only modifying a portion of the work already encumbered. It's probably less of an impact than putting something out entirely to bid. So,
Yep. And we do have a cost for replacing those ventilation louvers, or do not have a call, we asked for one, we haven't gotten it yet.
so it's gonna fill the water. I have steam heat at my house, I know that. That sound always happens at like 3 o'clock in the morning in my house. It never happens during the day.
Are we still in capital improvements? Because I wanted to ask about the State Street. Leaking, sagging roof
Today,
today.
yes, ice dam.
What?
There was an ice dam above the roof. So we got on the roof, we shoveled off the snow, we shoveled off the ice, we squeegeed all the water, the leak was stopped. We have to monitor what's gonna happen tonight into tomorrow.
Right, that was my worry. But that's not the first time. I mean,
This
that's,
thing looks like.
it's
It
been
has
there
been
for
for
decades. And it's been band-aided for, I mean, I probably all you can do because of the school, but it's been,
You can tell it.
you can
all
see all
down
the
that hallway.
plaster, like all the levels of let's fix this, but it's scary because this more snow is heavy.
Stare down.
Should we? All right,
Just gotta hold on.
Good
for-
idea.
for another year.
right, but don't forget we're still in there.
Is there a patch we can put on it?
A sheet.
Like just a
Sheet
tarp?
of- I don't think we want to clean up tarps.
Well, a tarp is not gonna, the weight is not gonna, a tarp's not gonna hold that out. is it?
But it has that kind of condemned.
I know.
Don't worry, Mark's on it.
Well,
Mark's on it.
I bet next week to try to figure it out and get it.
that's good, at least. Nobody's in there. Yeah, right. Well, right.
Anything else? The State Street that we wanna. Okay, you good? Yes, Mark. Okay, we kind of went over, the next steps a little bit. However, our meeting schedule, we are meeting for our second meeting this month, the 26th. And I think we should plan on meeting twice in March. We'll evaluate April and May afterwards. So that would be March 12th and March 26th as well. Anything else that anybody would like to bring up? Okay, the next item on the agenda is public comment. We did continue to not have any members of the public, so we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.